About Japanese pagodas. Pagodas in Japan are tall towers with multiple roofs and levels. Typically, pagodas are monuments and have very little usable interior space. Most pagodas are made out of wood or stone and have an odd number of levels or roofs. The Japanese pagodas were built a long time ago, and what you're seeing are some of the oldest structures in the world. This is where Japan is at in the world. It's colored in red. Let's take a moment and let's get started. Beginning with the end in mind, this is how my pagoda turned out. Let's begin by making some symmetrical roofs. I want you to take a piece of paper. I started with some red and I folded it in half. This will allow when I cut it out, it'll be symmetrical. From the idea sheet, feel free to use any of those building ideas to get started. If you run out of room or need more rooftops, go ahead and fold your paper and you can make more. I also saved the scrap paper because I thought this could be used for one, like the red sun or the red moon that you want to put into your project. I thought that'd be a good way to use up some of those scraps for any of those details. Now that I've got my project started, I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting out my rooftops and glue those in place that look right to me. You might even consider for your project if you wanted to hold your paper vertically rather than horizontally. Just another idea as you start thinking about how many levels of roofs that you want for your project. Once you have them in place, go ahead and start gluing them down. I love taking my marker and starting to add in the additional details of my pagoda. Looking back at those pictures from the very beginning, my idea sheet might help me as I start drawing out the details of my building, as well as any parts of the structure that I think will make this look nice. Please go ahead and start using a Sharpie marker when you start doing this, because eventually you're able to use watercolors in your project, and I don't want your washable marker to start spreading into your watercolors. So just a tip of the day, grab a Sharpie when you start putting on your details into your project so that when you add water to it, the black ink will not run. Ooh, I like the way this looks. Let's take a moment now and make sure that you have your name and class code on the back. We'll move into adding additional details and background. As you can see, I'm using my black Sharpie marker a little bit more to start adding on some details. I flipped the piece of paper over that had my pagoda ideas on it, and I found some different extras that would be really cool to put into my project. Once I'm done with my black Sharpie, I love this part because I'm using some black watercolor. The cool thing about black watercolor is it kind of gives me a feel of Japanese artwork. So I used my black watercolor just to give it a little bit more detail as far as values go. My black Sharpie is all one color, but when I used my watercolors in black, you could see different shades of gray, and I loved the way that looked. A name seal, known as a chop, is a way to identify the artist who made the art. It's a stamp used with ink. You can create your own chop by stamping a border of your initials on a small square of red paper and then glue it down into your artwork. There, I really like that. Lastly, I started putting on a few more details. Again, these ideas were really helpful from that idea sheet. I liked some of those cherry blossoms or some of those flowers into my background, so I'm just using the tip of my brush and adding some of those into my background as well. I think the idea sheets give me some really cool ideas of images of Japan, and it really gives me this cool cultural feel. I hope you had fun creating your own symmetrical pagoda. Thanks for watching, boys and girls, and happy art making! I love the way this looks. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to add. I took my black Sharpie marker and I really wanted my rooftops to stand out, so I used my black Sharpie marker, added a few more details onto the project, and I like the way that that turned out too. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy art making.